Find us on Facebook, email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or go to our website at head2headpinball.com. Welcome to the Head2Head Pinball Podcast. This is episode number 51, and my name's Martin, and with me
is Stacey.
Stacey? Where's Ryan C? Are you related?
Not really. I think we're from a similar place in the world, but he's retired, so...
He has. Guys, he said last week that he has quit. He hasn't really quit. He's actually just not available this week. So we've got Stacey. Now, Stacey, who are you?
Well, I am a local pinball player in the Melbourne scene. I've come through the ranks of video games and science, and I'm now playing myself in the silver ball game. So, yeah, I do a lot of things around the place, mostly working in sort of science and IT.
Are you a doctor?
I am a doctor, yes.
You are a doctor?
Absolutely. I've got a PhD in chemistry. It's not being used for much, but, it had its time, and it's good. It's good to tell people you're a doctor. Not on airplanes, but So I'm just into things like video games and pinball. I love the competitive scene around here, and it's great to compete. Unless I have to play against you, and then I normally lose. But you can't have everything.
You've been known to beat me as well. And for listeners, Ryan and I, ever since we started this podcast, we sort of said, if ever either one of us was unable to make the podcast recording, Stacey would be the person that we would bring in, and probably because outside of pinball, I probably speak to you a lot as well. So
true.
Very knowledgeable, very animated player as well, I think we would say.
Some might say vocal, yeah.
Some would say vocal. So a bit of a background for you, I guess, in your pinball.
Yep.
And I'm not going to say how did you get into pinball because, Jeff Teolis would come down on me. But, talk about some of the machines that you like and machines that you don't like.
Oh, that's always a tricky one. Well, one that I don't like, you would probably know. It's called Avatar.
Avatar. Yeah,
although I've said in the past that I don't like Avatar, but at the time I hadn't really played it that much. It must be said, and I played it a little bit more recently, and it's not a bad game. It's not the worst game. It's from that era of Stern where things were a little bit different. The sort of early 2000s. I wasn't in the scene then, so I didn't really get to play those as they came out. But there's a few games in there, like Iron Man and things like that they're good games.
Sure.
So it's not my least favourite game anymore. That's for sure. And I might have said in the past that I love Ghostbusters, and
you did too. And what do you think about that now?
I don't like Ghostbusters. It's an okay game, but it's so brutal, and it really doesn't give you much chance sometimes, and that's not fun for non-pinball players, that's for sure. I haven't really seen too many non-pinball players play it, but they wouldn't be playing for more than a minute or two on most setups.
I think it would make a good home game. If I could just play it over and over, but when you're in a tournament setting and
tournament or paying for it or whatever, you're paying for it either way when you play Ghostbusters.
You really are. So what would be the game that you're enjoying the most at the moment?
The most at the moment, Metallica's great. When that comes up, it's always good fun to play in tournaments. And I haven't played it much yet, but Iron Maiden looks the absolute business. So I've had a couple of games on it, and it's super tempting me to buy one new in box. I've never bought a new in box before. I've only had one machine, so definitely considering that strongly.
Yeah,
you made a good choice getting there.
Yeah, I think I've done well. Well, so just to let everybody know as well, we did think about Stacey coming on board, but there were some people that sort of caught wind of the fact that Ryan wasn't going to be on this week, and I gotta tell you, people were trying to get on this show as co-host, and if you don't mind me, I'll play you a couple of clips of people that have been trying to come on the show.
Hi, Martin. It's Mrs. Penn. I hear that Ryan has abandoned you this week, and I wanted to send you my auditory resume, just in case you're looking for somebody to accompany you on air. My top resume points. When competing against me in the Slam Top 100, you know that you're going to be a shoo-in because I know nothing about pinball. My top arguments would be things like, the lights flash so brightly, or man, that machine has some good flippers, or that machine has the prettiest colors, or check out the legs on that bitch. I don't know about you, but I just think that your arguments are going to be better no matter what. I'm also way prettier than Ryan, with the slim exception of when he goes out clubbing. I mean, he says so himself. He scrubs up real nice. Then it's up for debate. But the rest of the time, I could bring a pretty face to the podcast. I also sing way better than Ryan.
Un, dos, tres. Un pasatote latte amarilla. Un, dos, tres. Un pasatote la.
Case in point, I'm also willing to host as many Melbourne tournaments at my house as you'd like. And I have to tell you that we don't keep our machines nearly as tight as Ryan does. I can even put some rubber bands on the out lanes for us if you want me to. So if you want to have a tournament here every other week, you're more than welcome. All you have to do is get here. I'll even bring gin. If you are looking for a co-host, I might be your girl. I mean, Mrs. Pin for the win. If you know what I'm saying, drop the pro in Ryan and upgrade to the LE. Boom! Love you.
Tough competition there.
You know, she makes a compelling argument because, as we all know, Ryan not only chooses the numbers, I mean, he says Google does, but, you know, we really know.
We know who's in charge.
And then he gets to pick the GIF. So
yep.
I think that I do have, you know, maybe a bit of an advantage there, but sorry, Mrs. Pin. But here's another one.
Hey, what's going on, Martin?
Is that Bruce?
It is Bruce from the U.S. How y'all doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm really good. You know it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, fuck, I'm a little off on time, ain't I?
Yeah.
Well, no big deal. I hear you need a host this week, and I'm offering my great services to your show.
That's very nice of you. I am actually looking for a co-host. What is it that you can bring?
My sparkling personality, my charm, my wit, my sarcasm.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I can repair games. That's a big plus for you.
That's a massive plus for me.
My good looks and personality, and I almost have biceps as big as Ryan.
They are very good reasons, I must admit. There's probably one thing you don't have, and that is you're not Australian. And, you know...
What?
Well, I know. It's funny. And we do kind of want to keep it Australian. I do have somebody Australian in mind, so...
What?
Yeah.
Don't you have, like, racism laws there or something like that?
No, this is Australia.
I feel like I'm being discriminated
We're
against.
100 years behind. Look, I will say thank you, but no thanks. However,
Okay.
I'll throw you a lifeline because I know with this freaking Trash Talk Invitational, you've been dicked around, you and Ron. So how about
yeah, we have.
officially I invite you as the Head2Head Pinball Ringers, so that way you are absolutely guaranteed to be in the tournament. What do you think?
I would be honored to be part of the Head2Head / Slam Tilt podcast team.
Head to Slam.
Head to Slam.
Well, you know what? We've pretty much ripped off everything from you anyway, so we might as well have you as part of the team, right?
Nice. I love it, guys. That's why I love you guys. You guys rock.
Well, that's right. And we figured, throw you a bone. Here it is. You can now be part of the Trash Talker Invitational. Forget about the committee. Forget about Chuck Webster.
Chuck Webster, the bastard. Well, thank you, sir. I love you guys, and have a great show. Keep it Australian. I see where this is going.
Yeah. One day.
And have a great night, man.
All right. Thanks, mate. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, man. See you in 3 weeks, baby.
Okay. Thanks, mate.
Bye.
So Bruce from the Slam Tour podcast, he's trying to get in.
Wow. I mean, he's got credentials. He's got a lot of podcasts under his belt.
He does, but, he's not Australian.
True.
Do you know who else is not Australian?
Who?
This guy.
Welcome to the Head2Head Pinball Podcast. I'm Nate Shivers.
So, I mean, even Nate, the gold standard himself.
Wow.
He's wanted to come on the show. I mean,
amazing.
This is pretty exciting stuff, but again, sorry, mate, you're not really Australian. There was one more, I gotta say. Some would say a serial pest. And, in fact, I'm pretty sure I saw his car outside my work today. And
what?
I will post it up on Facebook. But
wow.
Here we go. Serial pest.
Well, the good news is this stupid podcast just got 50% better with Ryan being gone. Now we just need to get rid of that drunky McLaughs a lot. So until then, welcome to the new show, Pinside Petey and the Fuckhead. I'll be telling you what's cool like me. And Martin was just snicker and burp and occasionally drive his car into a ditch. No, this is never going to work. I can't do a podcast with Martin or any Australian or anyone for that matter. I'm a lone wolf. I beat to my own drum. My mom says the reason I'm alone is people don't understand me and they're just jealous. Losers. And you know what I say to that? Fuck off.
Good to get that trademark in there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Gotta have it.
So, I had considered, bringing on Pinside Petey until he said he just wants to go it alone and doesn't actually want to do a podcast with us. So.
There you go. And yeah, he's taken himself out of the running, really.
Pretty much. So there you go. You have beaten all of those people to be the successful person to be the co-host this week. So
amazing.
Well done.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
So we are going to cover a lot of news tonight. We're also going to go straight now into an interview that we did with Jimmy and Lambo, who are going to be bringing us the Brisbane Masters tournament in a couple of weeks.
Right.
And you are going.
Absolutely am. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Have you done many tournaments interstate before?
I had not done too many. I'd done a quick one in the Gold Coast once when I was up there for EB Expo. And I went to the Adelaide, or the Australian Championships in Adelaide at the start of this year. But that's it for me, interstate. Otherwise, it's been Melbourne all the way.
Yeah, fair enough. So this is, and you'll see we talk about this in the interview, this is pretty much Australia's biggest tournament of the year.
Yeah.
So here we go to Jimmy and Lambo. All right, joining us today all the way from, I can only assume, sunny Queensland, we've got Jimmy and Jason joining us today. How are you guys?
Good, guys. How you guys doing?
Yeah, very good up here, guys.
Fantastic. So you've got a big event coming up in a week's time. Can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, we got the Brisbane Masters coming up in about a fortnight now, I think it is.
Yeah, 2 weeks, yeah.
So just this morning we cracked over 120 paid-up players.
Nice.
So we just had an event this morning at Netherworld and a few more people signed up. And the event's actually only a few blocks from Netherworld in the heart of Brisbane, in one of like the newest kind of bar precincts in town. So it's a pretty fresh-looking street and lots of nice bars and restaurants nearby. And the venue we've got this year is capable of holding probably 44 machines, we think.
Right.
Pretty safely, and 120, 130 players, pretty safe. So the venue have been really good. They're organising, food and drink specials for us. We got bump in from probably Wednesday night now. We got access to the room from 7 in the morning till 2 a.m. every day. The bar's going to be open till 2 o'clock every night, which I think is a big win. There's nothing worse than, wrapping up a comp and everyone's got to be out within a few minutes. This way we get to finish our comps up. Everyone can hang around for another 2 hours and socialise and make all the games and stuff.
I shouldn't have even bothered booking accommodation. Yeah, just stay there.
Oh, that's right. Because Stacey, you're going, of course, but there's
I am
actually,
going.
and so it actually runs over 4 days. So there's actually a number of different tournaments that you've got.
Yeah, so we've got over the 4 days, there's 5 different events. So this year we've actually opened up the Thursday night, and we're doing a pin golf on the Thursday afternoon. Qualifying starts from 4 p.m. on that one. Then moving on to Friday. Friday we'll be still probably bumping a couple of machines in the morning, but then on the night time we've got a group 3-strike elimination. Then we move on to Saturday morning. We've got the main event, which kicks off around about 9:30 in the morning. 6 rounds of 3 games in groups again. And then Saturday night we have the first of the Flip Frenzies, which is going great guns. The Flip Frenzy is virtually sold out. Then on a Sunday morning we have the finals for the main event. And Sunday night, I should say. The last of the Flip Frenzies, which is a great way to sort of finish the event and basically have everyone let their hair down and just enjoy themselves to finish off such a big weekend.
Right, so they're 90-player Flip Frenzies, is that right?
That is correct. There's a slim possibility that the Flip Frenzies might be open up to a little bit more, a few more players, but a lot of it comes down to logistics, where the machines are holding up, things like that. We're hoping to open up to more than 90. We'd love to probably to go to 100 if possible.
Sure.
But yeah, at this stage it's sitting at 90 at the present moment.
Is that the biggest you guys have run, sort of up in Queensland, or have you gone higher?
When it comes to the Flip Frenzy, definitely the biggest. We did have I think 60 or 70 odd players. The Cooley Classic Flip Frenzies.
Right.
which was just amazing. I know when they run the Flip Frenzies here at Netherworld, usually have about 40 to 45 players there for their monthly ones. But definitely the biggest Flip Frenzy in Australia anyway.
You're right. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I've only ever been in Flip Frenzies that are run the old school way on paper or computer. But yeah, I think your software makes it a whole bunch easier, right?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of the frenzy out of it for everybody.
From the organizer, for sure.
Yeah, Barb's is an absolute legend when it comes to that software. Like, it's just amazing, and I know these guys are actually looking at taking that software sort of around the world in a couple of weeks' time when they go to Finbird. So, it's going to be awesome.
And so the main tournament you said has now hit 120 players. Is that a cap, or do you want to go even more than that?
We've got 43 machines coming along to the event, so we can potentially have up to 160 players if we really want to. So there's still people out there that want to sign up and register. Absolutely, get your names in, be part of the biggest event we've ever had in Australia.
And so tell me a bit about the history of Brisbane Masters. How long has it been going for, and how has it grown over the time?
So this is actually the 4th year of the Brisbane Masters. It was actually Jimmy's idea a few years back to actually want to run a bigger type event here in Brisbane. And I remember he actually approached me to co-run the event, basically. And we started, as I said, 4 years ago. This is our 4th year, so 3 years ago, we started a little venue over at West End called the Archive Bar. Where we did have a cap, I think, of about 60 or 70 players, I think. And it was definitely a very, very tight squeeze there. A great venue. They were really accommodating, everything like that. But that's where we started with 70 players. And fast forward 4 years later, 120 players. We've got players coming from New Zealand and from the US and all over Australia, of course. And it's only getting bigger and better every year. Definitely couldn't have done this without a good bloke like Jimmy, and also due to the really awesome pinball community we have here in Australia. It's just getting better and better every year, and no doubt, just thoroughly enjoy it. Basically, love the organising side of it. So
what are the challenges that you've had running the tournament in the past, and how do you make sure that you don't have those same challenges this year?
I think on game day everything goes pretty well. Like me and Lambo have been running big events and monthly tournaments for so long. We feel we feel pretty comfortable even managing up to 100 people. I think it's just the logistics of finding a venue that understands what we want to do and is willing to accommodate us, and then having the, bumping in and out of the machines is, 3 days either side of people working like madmen.
Yeah.
But it's usually just trying to find a venue that has the, the infrastructure that can handle, 40 plus machines getting plugged in and turned on. And, I think the space we've got now could probably handle 140 people pretty comfortably. But in previous years, we've been definitely limited by space. Archive could only handle 60. Toolong Bowls, probably 80. We did the mill last year, but we were definitely maxed at 80. If we'd got one more person in there, you wouldn't have been able to get to your machines. Whereas this year with 120 and 140 machines, everyone's still going to be comfortable. There's a beautiful beer garden deck for people to go relax on. There's
foyer area as well.
It's a really nice space. So there's plenty of room to get away from the room as well when you may have a 20-minute break waiting for your next round to start. The food's good, the beer's good. So pretty lucky all around it. We did hunt. Man, I looked at so many venues for this. I probably looked at 60 spaces trying to find the right place. But we're thrilled with what we've got.
The other thing that's also been a bit of a hurdle, I guess, over previous years is, of course, finding enough people that are happy to donate machines as well. Because, to try and get 40 machines, especially for this year's event, hasn't been easy. But because we are so lucky up here in Queensland that we've got a lot of people that are happy to support all the events we have running, we're very, very blessed, basically, to be able to count on these people, and obviously they share this passion for the sport as well that we have. We are very, very lucky up here.
So what's the mix of all machines sort of coming from private collections, or have you got things from other venues coming along as well, or?
Yeah, so Netherworld's donating a couple of the machines for the weekend, as well as a couple of the operators that have machines here at Netherworld as well. Pincadia, despite the fact that they're not open at the moment, they're happy to donate a couple of machines. We've also got Pinball House around the corners donating a couple, but just about the rest of them are from private collections. So as I said, it's just fantastic that we have such great support base from all these people, and the majority of the people that are actually supplying machines are also playing in the event as well.
Yeah. And not to mention, though, also a lot of the guys will drop the machines off themselves and pick them up, which is extremely generous. We've also had a few guys that have offered just to hang around on Thursday and Friday and just help with the placement of the machines and getting everything level and set up, which, that the weight of just doing that alone for us at Lambos, that's 20, 30, 40 hours of prep you need to do. So having a few extra hands to do that's a huge help.
Yeah, awesome. So just going through the machines then. Okay, what I'm going to do, you've got them into 3 areas. So the 2000s, the 90s DMD, and then the solid state and EM. What I'm going to do, I'm going to read out the machines, and I want each of you, because all 3 of you are going to be at this tournament, tell me which game are you most looking forward to playing, and which one are you least most looking forward to playing. So we've got Iron Maiden Pro. In fact, you've got 2 Iron Maiden Pros. You've got a World Poker Tour, Spider-Man Vault, Batman 66 Limited Edition, Total Nuclear Annihilation, Star Trek Pro, Pirates of the Caribbean, the Stern one, Tron, Guardians of the Galaxy, Metallica, Iron Maiden Vault, and Walking Dead Pro. I know the lineup's probably subject to change, but based on those alone, what are your thoughts?
I know for me personally, I'm definitely looking forward to playing Iron Maiden again. Definitely enjoyed playing it when we were down at Coolangatta for the Cooley Classic. Haven't played it since, and I'm one of these people that's sort of on board with just the fact that it's such a great playing game, and there's all this talk of it being one of the best machine releases in the last 15 years or so. I definitely find it one of the best. I'm also a big fan of the Star Trek Pro as well. I know you are as well, Martin.
Yep.
And I don't apologise for getting you on that in Adelaide, but
no, that's fine. I got you back.
But anyway, as I said, the Iron Maiden's a great game. Star Trek for me is probably ranks a little bit higher just because I like the fast flow of the game. But yeah, definitely for me, one of those two anyway.
And which one are you least likely to enjoy when you're coming into a tournament?
Well, I don't know. I'd probably say maybe possibly Pirates of the Caribbean. Not because I don't like playing the game, but I find it can be a very, very long, drawn-out game at times. And I'm certainly not dissing the game in any way. As I said, I don't mind the game, but I'm not sure if it's really a game I'm looking forward to playing. And, I mean, fingers crossed. I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but someone will probably, like, if I'm lucky enough to get to the finals, someone might want to draw against me or something like that. So
There'll be no record of this. This is a private conversation.
Yes.
Feel free to tell us all your shortcomings.
Yeah, please.
I'm happy to provide all this. No worries at all. Plenty of that. But I'd say probably Pirates of the Caribbean for me is probably the least one that I'm looking forward to out of the newer games. As I said, not a knock on the game, but that's just the way I feel.
Jimmy?
Definitely can't wait to get my hands on Iron Maiden again. Super pumped and really enjoyed playing that at Cooley. Least looking forward to. I'm a bit like TNA in a tournament environment is as equally terrifying as it is exciting. At Cooley, it was pretty interesting to watch people playing that TNA at Cooley Classic. It was a brutal machine, but other people managed to push out 1 million or 2 million point scores even in a comp environment, which is pretty impressive.
Awesome. What about you, Stacey?
I mean, as the other guys have said, Iron Maiden is definitely one to look forward to. I've managed to have a couple of games of it locally here, and I mean, there's just so many shots. I don't think I've even actually shot at all the shots yet. There's that many to sort of master. So it'll be definitely fun to get back on that. Also really looking forward to Batman 66 because that sort of new code that's come out looks really interesting, and I haven't had a chance again to play that. So I've watched a few streams and things from Deadflip, so definitely keen to get on that and have a crack. I haven't played World Poker Tour, but that should also be fun. I'm definitely least looking forward to Star Trek Pro. I know you guys all love it, but God, I can't get my head around that game. So I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Happy to show you when you get up here, Stacey.
No worries. As long as you don't do it during the tournament.
I wouldn't do that.
Excellent. No. So yeah, that's probably my least favourite there. I mean, Walking Dead can be brutally hard as well, but I'm willing to give that a crack. So.
Okay. All right, so from the mid-90s, so there's the D&D era, we've got Black Rose, Party Zone, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Flintstones, Doctor Who, Twilight Zone, Getaway, Baywatch, Demolition Man, Shadow, Fishtails, Monster Bash, Star Wars Data East, and Circus Voltaire. I mean, already, like, each of the machines, even from the 2000s to this, what a great lineup already, right?
Yes. Wrong. Yeah. Not wrong.
Yeah, Lambo, you've been looking forward to the Flintstones, I'm sure. Yeah, bowling team.
Me? No, that's got nothing to do with that at all. I mean, it's a tough one to choose from. Like, I know for me personally, I'm a huge fan of Monster Bash. I mean, it's just such a great game, and I know that one we are getting is in such great condition as well. So let's just say I'm very surprised we were actually able to acquire that machine because it is in such good condition. To be honest, from that list, it's just so hard to choose something. As you're saying, it's such a good lineup. And again, that's where I'm saying that we're so blessed and so lucky that we've got that support that these people are happy to supply all these machines. I honestly can't pick. There's this. Yeah, I can't even pick a bad one out of that. So
I know. It's hard.
Actually, not a bad one on that list. So the only one that gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit is Fishtails because everyone knows how to play Fishtails. There's always that environment around Fishtails in a comp where you're sure that you should be able to get a good score. Everyone should be able to score reasonably well on a Fishtails, but the one at Cooley, God damn, that machine destroyed me at Cooley.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Stacey?
Yeah, I mean, similarly, they're all fantastic machines. The one I'd probably put down the bottom for mine is Baywatch. I've only played it a couple of times probably and never really had much fun with it, but it's another great game. But yeah, out of those, if I had to choose one that I'm not looking too much forward to is probably Baywatch.
Yeah, I think the only one that I'm probably not looking forward to, and it's not because I don't like the game or anything like that, but it's been many years since I played Black Rose.
Yeah.
So purely because of that, it's probably the one I'm probably not looking forward to playing. But as I said, they're all good games, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's interesting because from a tournament perspective, Black Rose is an interesting one because there's not a lot of people that really know how to play it. It's also a relatively, I won't necessarily say unforgiving, but, the cannon shot itself can be, unless it works perfectly, can be just absolutely deadly. The shot layout is a little bit awkward, but if you can nail, particularly, the right ramp, you can, start getting your lock shots through the in lanes and start multi-ball. But once you're in multi-ball, it's still quite a challenging layout anyway. So if it was for me, I'd be happy to get up on Black Rose because I understand the rules really well, and I would assume that a lot of people don't.
All right.
Yeah, no, I think you're right with that one, Martin. Yeah.
All right. So the list of solid state and EM. Now, there's some here that I don't know of. Only a couple. So Conquest, for example. I don't know that machine.
Yeah, Conquest is an EM.
Yep.
It's the one and only EM that we've got there this for the Masters weekend. When it was offered, we sort of jumped at the opportunity to be able to have an EM there.
Yep.
Would have liked a few more, but there's not too many people offering up EMs, or we all know sometimes the EMs don't really last a whole weekend of play. So, so it was a little bit disappointing, I guess. But as I said, once the opportunity came up, it was really good. But I've never seen it before either. So should be.
Well, it's still you've got great machines here. So you've got Barracuda, which is an amazing tournament game. You've got Grand Lizard, just go for multi-ball. Xenon, another great game. Vector, oh, Stacey. Excalibur, TX Sector, TX. Robo War, great. I've played that in a tournament. Space Invaders, Transporter, Bride of Pinbot, Buck Rogers, Taxi, and Pinball Champ 82. What are our thoughts?
Well, I know a lot of the consensus up here in Queensland is that Space Invaders is probably the one we're not looking forward to the most. I still have a few nightmares about that one from the Death by Pinball that we had up here earlier in the year. It was the one and only game from the entire weekend I got a 4th place on.
Right.
Oh, no.
Last game of the entire weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Last game. 63 games we had for that entire night, and it was the last game I got a 4th place on it. So, I know that's the general consensus. I actually don't mind Space Invaders. But if I had to pick one as the one that I don't want to play, that's probably it. Maybe Bride of Pinbot as well. I don't think it's necessarily the best tournament game, unfortunately. But we've sort of got to go with what we can get. If the people are happy, if that's what they were happy to donate, I guess, then we certainly can't say no to it. From a probably the other side of things, I am a huge fan of Grand Lizard. Certainly had a couple of good games on it at last year's Masters when it was there. So I'd probably just about say that, and I'm always a big fan of Taxi as well.
Yeah, I'm on that Grand Lizard as well. The one that'll be at the Masters was on the floor at Netherworld for probably 8 months. But since has had a playfield swap and a complete refurb, and apparently is looking mental. So super keen to see how it looks. It played beautifully while it was here anyway, but now with a playfield swap, apparently it's spectacular. And super keen to see that. I'm definitely not looking forward to playing Space Invaders. 100%. That's an easy decision right there.
Just want to make sure you draw that during the Flip Frenzies if you can. Nice quick games.
Yeah.
Right. For myself, I've only really played, 4 of these games, I believe. Xenon, Vector, Taxi, and Bride of Pinbot. The others, I don't know. I've seen of them, but I haven't actually played them. I think I'm looking forward to Barracuda. I mean, I've seen that in a few of the big tournaments over in the States. That looks like a really fun game. But I'll say Space Invaders. I'm looking forward to that the most. Someone has to. If you guys all hate it, then maybe I've got a chance. Maybe I'll study that one and become the Space Invaders master.
I know you're probably one of probably two. I think Dave is probably the other one. Zone, he's probably the other one that's probably looking forward to playing the most. He is his machine after all.
I'm a retro gamer from way back, so Space Invaders, has to have some connection there. So
yeah, I'm another person that actually likes Space Invaders, but everybody knows that I've got really shit taste in pinball, so that would not surprise. But I would have said, Stacey, for you, Vector would have been one that you wouldn't be looking forward to. Am I right?
I did come first on last weekend when we had to play that. So,
but it's such a random game.
It's so hard. I mean, you've got to get that plunge right. You've got to get those targets down, and then you've got to manage to hit that left round. It depends on how the flippers are going, I guess. If the flippers are nice and powerful, it's probably a bit more fun. So
yeah, I've played that Vector a couple of times before. It's not too bad to play, so it shouldn't be too difficult actually. So
okay,
yeah. Well, what an amazing lineup, guys! I think that the tournament's going to be great, and it's just getting bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, to have 120 players in this event this year, it just goes to show, obviously, we must be doing something all right up here. And, we have such a great pinball community up here. People are coming along to all the monthly events and fortnightly events we're hosting up here. Cooley Classic was a good example of that again, only a couple of months ago where, I think numbers this year were up nearly 30 on last year. So, it's just absolutely fantastic, and I can't thank the pinball community, not just here in Brisbane and Queensland, but all around Australia. And it's just fantastic. I know Jimmy and I are absolutely stoked with how it's all going.
Yeah, Cooley probably was the biggest tournament weekend we've ever had in Australia, right? I mean, about 167 Whopper points in total. I mean, Lambo, you collected most of those. About 148. Definitely, that was that the largest we've had in Australia. I can't think of anything else.
I think so, because I know even last year's Brisbane Masters event wasn't quite worth that much. So I mean, overall, I think it was just amazing. So I know obviously this weekend in a couple of weeks' time we're going to definitely top that.
Yeah.
It's just as I said, I'm almost speechless when it comes to it. Basically.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, and I mean, everyone else in Australia is really jealous of the Brisbane scene at the moment. I mean, heaps of tournaments happening all the time. What do you reckon have been the biggest factors in having that scene flourish so much?
I don't know what Jimmy's going to say, but I know it's pretty much because people want it. Because I sort of run things off feedback, and people telling me, like with the Brisbane club this year, for example, it was actually because of the players we decided to go from monthly to fortnightlies. And as a result of that, I actually thought that moving to fortnightlies, I thought would actually drop numbers.
Right.
But still averaging probably about 40 to each event every fortnight. The Pincadia events were getting nearly 30 to an event. The Flip Frenzies sell out up here at Netherworld within a few hours in most cases. As I said, it's just because the players want it. Because they want it, we run it.
But it has it just that we mentioned it a few episodes ago where Queensland, Brisbane, Gold Coast really is now probably the pinball capital of Australia, just with the amount of events and the amount of venues. But why Brisbane? Why Gold Coast?
It's a good question. I mean, I moved up here 4 years ago from Melbourne, and not long, the year before I left Melbourne, I ran a big marathon at the Peacock, pushed pretty hard on the media and on advertising, and I think we ended up with about 40-odd players. I got to Brisbane several months later. I did one post on Aussie Arcade for a pinball marathon, and I had 60 people registered by 9 in the morning. It was unbelievable, the response. They didn't know who I was. They'd never heard of me. A lot of guys were like, who are you? What are you doing? But again, they all turned up with machines in the back of their cars. I literally could not believe the response and how quickly it grew here. But that said, Lambo was running comps long before I got here, so there is some depth in the time spent, especially by people like Lambo. So the scene has been slowly building, and then we are very spoilt for venues with Pincadia, Pinball House, One Up Free Play. I just saw there's an arcade opening in Townsville shortly.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's one on the sunny coast, which Vaughn Keaton was here this morning at the Flip Frenzy. He's doing an amazing job running events on the sunny coast. Peter, Holly, Gavin do an unbelievable job on the Gold Coast. So there's a lot of guys. Gavin's been running comps longer than I've been in Brisbane as well. So
yeah, I'll just mention that that a lot of where this started can actually be attributed to time zone down the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
With Jamin and Juan down there, the Service Paradise and Coolangatta stores, they were actually the first ones here in Queensland to actually start a club. And so it's just basically built from there. So the Gold Coast Pinball Club based at Surfers Paradise was the first club to open up in South Queensland. And then the Brisbane club followed not long after, and it's just basically snowballed from there, basically. And it's just been fantastic. And I also want to add as well that especially with Jimmy and the guys here at Netherworld, before the Brisbane club moved here to Netherworld, we were probably averaging 25 to 30 per meet. But since moving here to Netherworld, and with all the support that they give, with all the promotion they give and everything like that, it's basically makes a massive difference. We're all of a sudden getting, as I said, averaging 40 players a month. We had our biggest turnout at the end of last year of 61 players. Even the Tuesday night just gone, we had 49 players. It's just getting massive turnouts. And it's all attributed to just people wanting to turn out and have fun. And I think that's the other thing that's really a big bonus about all of this is that we all just turn up and have fun.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the competition. It's not about the points. It's just about turning up, having fun, having a few drinks, having a laugh, talking shit, basically. And that's what it's about.
So just back on the Flip Frenzy as well. So Jimmy, you're going to be running a Flip Frenzy in the US. This is true?
Yeah, we're pretty thrilled. Thanks to some hookups from Jack Danger and Jessica Donato. I got in contact with Logan Arcade, and the guys there were super responsive. So myself, Scott, and Hugh from Netherworld are heading to Pinburg. And then the 4 days following, we're going to hang out in Chicago. And on the Wednesday nights, we're running a Flip Frenzy at Logan Arcade. Tickets for that go on sale tomorrow week in the US, which should go well. I think they have 26 machines on the floor there, so we can probably push it up to like 60 people if we want, if the response is good. Yeah,
well, people will know that on the podcast we have been talking about Flip Frenzy being such an amazing format. So everybody, if you are in Chicago, go along. You've got and will you be having your famous software running it?
Yeah, so Scott, or Barbs as we call him, is coming with us to Pinburg, and he'll be there to oversee and make sure everything runs smoothly. And fingers crossed, we do hope that the software at some stage this year will be stable enough for anyone to operate it. There's probably like another 100 hours of coding that we need to do to make that possible. Right. At this stage, if someone misreports a score, Barbs has to bounce into the software and go back a couple of steps. But if that was to happen, if I was running it on my own, to do that, I probably wouldn't be able to manage it. Often Barbs literally writes code on the fly if there's a weird function, which I've seen him do. It's unbelievable, especially when he drinks double gin and juice all morning as well. Sounds incredible. But, that's his... He writes Autobots or automatic software for a living, so he's very clever. He's really excited. He's only just got into pinball this year, so he's pretty nervous about Pinburg, but he's a super friendly guy. People are going to love him anyway. And I know Jack's going to stream the Flip Frenzy from Logan Arcade. Jessica's going to be there with us, and Hugh, one of my technicians, is coming. So, yeah, really hoping we get a good response when the tickets go on sale. And yeah, can't wait to check out Chicago, really. We're doing a Stern factory tour on the Wednesday morning. Considering hiring a car and driving up to Spooky as well. So yeah, really excited about the trip. Can't believe it's only a few weeks away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, pretty terrifying actually, considering all the work I've got to put in for Masters in the next couple of weeks, and I literally have Monday off with the family and then bounce. So
Right.
And what are you looking forward to most with Penberg?
Probably being humbled in my pinball skills. Jessica certainly said that, prepare to be humbled a little bit, but mostly just learning and meeting a lot of people that, we've watched online for years, spoken to online over the last couple of years. So just mostly keen to meet a lot of people and watch some really good players. I hope I play okay. I'm really looking forward. There'll be a lot of machines there that I've never seen before, but just mostly the experience. Like, I can't just wait for, the registration and opening of the event. Just cannot wait for it. Fingers crossed I at least see the first 6 balls I play. I'll probably be way too excited.
Yeah, honestly, as you know, I've been to a couple of large tournaments over there. That first moment it's pretty amazing, because it's like, you've obviously got a big tournament with Brisbane Masters, but 10 times that, and then that's what you've got. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I believe, and that's something I've got to keep in mind too. Even I feel like I dropped the ball a little bit with Death by Pinball, because the people there were in that mode. They were very, very excited to be there, and what they'd actually achieved was truly unbelievable. But I was so exhausted come the end. I just wanted to, let's do the ceremony and let's get to bed. But actually, once we released the results, the whole room just erupted like it was the grand final of the football. It was unbelievable. So you don't realize how invested people are when you're running events like that. You definitely have to remember how important it is for everybody there, not just the winners. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I pushed the Masters to have B, C, and D grade finals this year, which I think is great. If you make the top 72, you're going to play finals on Sunday. But going back to what Lambo said, that's come from the crowd here, guys that turn up week in, week out to events but never quite make the finals, or they're always kind of middle of the road. For them, they just really want to experience what it's like to come back the next day, to feel that kind of head-to-head pressure that they watch the other guys do all the time. So I think that adds to the quality of the event. We've also pushed out A grade is now best of 5 on the Sunday. B, C, and D grade is still best of 3. It's a bit of a shorter format, but that's because I want the lower finals to be done by the time maybe we get to the top 8 of A grade. And that way there's a good crowd around, there's a bit of excitement around as the finals are coming up. We're also probably going to give a little bit of time for people to warm up Sunday morning. I'm also going to open Netherworld super early Sunday if people want to come and warm up in there. And I feel like if you're in A grade, if you've had a chance to warm up and it's a best of 5, you've kind of been given every chance you can to win. The one criticism we've received over the last few years is turning up cold on the Sunday and it's only a best of 3. Yeah. And you can have 4 house balls and you're going home. You know what I mean? That can happen so quickly Sunday morning. So I really hope that this format just extends the quality of the event and also the experience for the better players as well.
Absolutely. I mean, any chance to play more pinball is always welcome.
That is true.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on today. Really appreciate it, as you've just finished a flip frenzy this morning as well. And any final words for you, Stacey, as you're going to be up there for the Brisbane Masters?
Oh, I mean, just, go gentle on me, as I always ask. It'll be my biggest tournament outside of Melbourne, so definitely looking forward to it. And, see you up there.
See you up there. Yeah, great. It'll be good to see you, Stacey. And again, thank you to everyone that's travelling interstate or from overseas for the event. That, very humbling to think that people will come up for that. So thrilled to see a lot of, especially my old Melbourne Massive. Pretty pumped to see a lot of my old mates up here. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you in Pinburg, Jimmy.
Woohoo!
Thanks, guys.
See
Thanks.
you there, mate. Bye.
So there we go. That was Jimmy and Lambo. Stacey, what did we learn?
Well, we learn a lot about the Brisbane scene. I mean, it's been kicking butt for quite a while now. And it looks like, Brisbane Masters is going to be just an awesome tournament to go to.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to labour on the point about sort of Brisbane, and, our very first interview that we did on Head to Head was actually with Jimmy.
Yeah, that's right.
Jimmy Nels. And really what he talked about was, I guess, the essence of what makes a really good pinball venue. And, his venue, Netherworld, still is just a very popular venue. And when you walk in, it is a venue that has pinball. They complement each other really well, and good on him and good on the Brisbane scene for just growing to be so big as it is.
As you say, like a lot of people say, that you really have to get the venue right. The pinball will sort of take care of itself after that, but it's very hard to base a good venue on just pinball, right? You got to get everything around it.
Yeah, well, and look, we spoke to Bruce before, and Bruce was on a podcast recently. I think it was Eclectic Gamers,
Right.
and he sort of mentioned that I think he was saying that the takings that he gets really from pinball is probably about 20% of his takings. So if 80% comes from everything else, that's really what you got to focus your attention on.
Exactly. It's pinball is a feature of the place. It can't be the focus, I think, in most places.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's, we've spoken to sort of operators and things like that, and I had a machine that was on site for I think it was about a year. It's really hard to make a living off this unless you've got a lot of them, and it's in a venue that's got a lot of traffic through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. So shall we go to some news, Stacey?
Oh yeah, why not? Let's do it.
What shall we start with?
How about that Iron Maiden code?
Well, yes, so Iron Maiden 1.02 was released. Ah, man.
How good is this? You haven't even got your machine yet that you pre-ordered, and we're up to 1.02.
I know. And I've said before that I kind of enjoy the updating process, and someone actually sent me a note saying, I'll send you all the previous code updates and you can,
I'll go through the motions.
install it, play it, then install the update, play it, then install an update. But, we will get it with 1.02 code.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and so look, there's a couple of things there. The Trooper Multi-Ball, there's some sort of fixes there, and also with Mummy Multi-Ball. Added some more call-outs and has added a dirty pool call-out.
All right. How do you get dirty pool?
So if you get an air ball into the sarcophagus,
right?
Apparently, and I will see when I get my Iron Maiden, it will give you a dirty pool call out and it'll give you an instant lock.
Nice. But does that work? Would that work on the Pro as well? Or is that just for the LE? Premium?
I honestly don't know, because I don't know whether you can get an air ball into that. I think it may be just the way that the sarcophagus lock is different on the premium and limited edition.
Yeah.
But also to note, we believe that the Iron Maiden limited editions are currently on Australian soil.
Oh, very nice. So
apparently the boat landed a couple of days ago, and I might get it this week.
Most excellent. Fantastic.
And with fully fleshed out code. I mean, I think when it launched, it had a lot of code anyway. Most of it really was there. They obviously had to add, final wizard modes and now to do some tweaking. So
sure.
I
think that's probably the advantage of it being not a brand spanking new machine, having been fleshed out over a longer time with Keith. Maybe makes that a bit more apparent, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a new Stern initiative to just get stuff moving along.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I think they've got a lot more coders there, a lot more animators, a lot more designers, a lot more engineers. I think there's a lot more people there now.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's what they can do. They can just have these things with better code. I also think it comes down to, shifting priorities when it comes to the release of machines, because the rumors were that Batman 66 had to be pushed out quickly.
Right.
There were other machines that got pushed forward from their normal release date. So, it has to come out in whatever state it is. The danger of that is it comes out with code that's not great and it
makes people upset. People don't like it.
Yeah.
People buy and sell machines quickly. Yeah. A lot of their machines have been just so much better once the code's been tweaked and finished. It's amazing.
Yeah. Have you played Batman 66 recently?
I haven't not played it, but I've seen it, and it just looks like it would play so much better than it used to.
Yeah, it does.
That sort of multi-level villain action, and actually having some minor villains to play around with and doing some cool stuff with them. I mean, it's so important to get that stuff out there, and it came out, didn't have those things, and a lot of people probably had a lower view of it than they really should.
Yeah, and I think that they've sort of turned it around. I think the stigma of that game has now gone, and it's been a long time. What has it been, like 18 months now?
Yeah, about that.
Something like that. So, they can recover from that. I think they have recovered from that. Releasing machines like Iron Maiden with really good code to begin with really helps that.
Definitely.
So, hashtag, there's the code.
Let's get it trending.
Yeah. We also got another Stern of the Union as well.
Right. Yes.
So, what did they have to say, Stacey?
There's a bit of action in the army updates. I mean, I don't know if that makes much sense to us because it's mostly sort of American based, but a whole bunch of people have come in through the Stern army.
Well done, guys.
Congratulations.
Maybe we'll get a Stern army in Australia one day.
That'd be great. I mean, we don't really do the army thing that much here in Australia, but
no.
I mean,
Fair enough.
What else have they got? They got some bare naked lady tickets available. Should we enter that competition, Martin?
Oh, I don't know. They haven't toured here. I don't even know whether they have toured here, but I do like bare naked ladies, so
they are good. And I mean, of course, Ed Robertson is a big pinball nut, so that's probably why they've got that information in there.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I'd say so. Code updates. So they're saying with Batman 66, still working towards the next release later this summer. Well, It's winter where we are, so I don't know. I guess that's in a month, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
They said Kiss will follow Aerosmith's updates, followed by Ghostbusters.
Okay. Oh, Ghostbusters updates. What are they going to do? Move the flippers closer together? That can be done in code, right?
Make the ball not jump over the outlanes.
Oh, those outlanes. I hate those outlanes so much, Martin.
I know. And that's, we talked about before why you don't like Ghostbusters, and it really is that. I can deal with the flipper gap. Admittedly, you have to completely change your flipper style. But those outlanes, wow. When it jumps over there.
Yeah, it's still true that it plays pretty well when it's nicely set up. But there is nothing that you can't do anything about those outlines. You just lose the ball for no reason. It's totally unfair. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Fix them. Put something over the top of them, Stern.
Well, you can obviously get aftermarket, but
they should have done that themselves. That was I believe they should have fixed that problem.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I think they also had ghosting as well that they were dealing with.
Yeah, there's some other issues on there.
So it is
Slimer problems.
Yeah, I think they've managed to salvage Batman 66. Yes. Ghostbusters, ooh, it's still a bit of a sore point.
That's okay.
They've also mentioned that the Star Wars Topper, everyone keeps asking about it. It's in the final phase of production, development, and approvals. They say that.
Do we know anything? We don't know anything about it. No rumors.
I've not even seen. Well, the rumor I've heard is that it's and remember, we are going to talk about a lot of rumours tonight, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a clanger of a rumour coming up. But you've got to remember, people just randomly send us messages, and, you know, we repeat them because why not? It's a bit of fun.
Absolutely.
So someone has said that the topper is going to be like R2-D2.
Okay, that sort of makes sense.
With, you know, like the topper for Doctor Who, with the Dalek that moves left and right.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know. That's, you asked me if I'd heard anything, that's the only thing I'd heard. I don't know what it would be, but, I mean, that would be very cool.
A life-size animatronic Yoda.
Yes!
Let's do it, Stern, come on.
Come on, you've got the means to do that.
Absolutely.
Stacey has asked for it, you should deliver.
A hologram of Mark Hamill.
Yes!
Why not?
Sure. Look, so the only thing I want to talk about with Stern, and this is let's just label this completely unfounded wild rumour and possibly wishful thinking.
Yep.
So someone emailed me during the week and said that apparently, and remember I say apparently,
so, let's make that allegedly.
So let's not break
the legal term.
So, but if it's true, you heard it here first, right?
Absolutely.
That's how this works. So apparently, Stern have the rights to Bally Williams machines.
What?
This is what I've heard. This is
right. So does this stem from the whole pinball arcade thing? Is that the? You've heard this?
You know what? Again, I don't know what to make of this, whether it's true or not. And it could be just, you know, Doug Score has gone from Chicago Gaming over to Stern, so therefore, let's start this rumour that Stern are going to start making Bally Williams machines.
But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. The licenses are there for the taking.
It's not impossible. It would cost a bit of money. Whoever's got the licenses at the moment would know what they're worth. But just think about it for a second, right? If Stern did have the rights and now the ability to make Bally Williams machines,
wow,
holy crap!
This would change things quite a bit, wouldn't it?
Well, it really would because, you know, obviously the ones that are coming out at the moment, so we've obviously had Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars, they are 2 years minimum in the making, and, you know, Monster Bash, though it's not been completely confirmed, has been told to be the next one.
Yeah.
That's taken forever. Well, it feels like forever.
That's good for you, especially.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because we have to report on this stuff each week.
That's right.
So, my mind boggles if they could do that and, you know, they could churn 3 of those out a year.
Yeah.
That would be a massive game changer. But as we said, complete unfounded rumour.
Do you guys know how the remakes have been done? Like, are they like individual licenses or something for those machines?
I think they are. Well, yeah. So they own the license already. They then contract them out. So there would be fees associated.
Yeah, sure.
So I think they've sort of paid for the license, maybe outright. I don't really know whether they do pay a per machine fee. That the short answer to your question is no.
Okay. Fair enough. No,
I really don't know. Someone write into us and someone who knows, write into us and say you're full of shit. First of all, whoever sent that email is just completely bonkers. But then also tell us how the licensing works for those Bally Williams machines. So, there you go. So a bit of fun. It'd be great if it was true, but I think it really is a bit of wishful thinking.
I did see somewhere, I think it was on Facebook, probably on the Pinball Arcade page, someone I didn't catch exactly who they were, but they seemed to be someone that was involved with one of the companies somehow, and they mentioned that something was happening.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't know. I mean, there's been rumours I've heard about, you know, or people saying that maybe they were going to turn pinball machines into, you know, gaming machines, poker machine type things, but I don't think that makes any sense really. Like, how many customers are you going to gain from that? Like, I don't think that pinball licenses really garner the respect of, your average pokey player.
No.
Compared to like movies or TVs or whatever themes that we're using.
Yeah. Medieval Madness, it's no Downton Abbey.
It isn't. It really isn't.
Well, and this is the thing, right? We just do this little podcast for this sort of, this group. We are pretty much in a bubble, and pinball is.
For us, it's everything, but for the average Joe, it's it's not. It's not.
Oh, do they still make those?
That's exactly.
I mean, if I had $1 for every time something that said to me, I'd have $112.
You've got a little golf counter that you can knock it off with.
I do. I just need to make a note. Somebody's asked me that ridiculous question again, and they go, "Oh, I love that song. What's that song? Pinball Wizard." And then they start singing it.
Oh, of course they do.
So
why would they?
Because I want to hear that song again. It's not a terrible song, but I just think that we are more than that song.
It's so descriptive, though. Really just tells you what's happening.
It really does. Moving on to The Hobbit. What do you think about The Hobbit?
I really enjoyed The Hobbit, to be honest. I never had it, but I've played your one, and I played Ryan's one, and I played it around the place. It's a fun game. It's a very open playfield, apart from those beasts when they pop up. And, I guess if I had it in my home, I might have got bored with the way that the code was set up. But, when I played it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, look, that was clearly the problem with my very small collection that I have.
Yeah.
I play my machines a lot. So, I don't know if Ryan was here, he would sort of bang on how much he's needed that final wizard mode. Well, there is new code that's been released. So this is 3.0 code. And the 3.00. And they've added there and back again wizard mode for playing all book modes.
Okay.
Now that's quite achievable.
How many book modes are there?
12-ish.
Around that number?
12?
Mid-teens? Not even?
No, I think there's 31.
Oh, 31. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Sorry. That was volume 1. Volume 1 has 12.
That was just...
The other 2 books had another 30.
Well, those 12 books made the first movie. That's how long it felt.
That's right. So, there are 4 modes just about singing songs.
Yes, there is. So, look, what they've done, and we obviously interviewed Keith Johnson a few weeks ago, and he talked about what he was going to do. I subsequently sold my machine, mainly because I needed to make way for Iron Maiden. And, of course, we mentioned it, that as soon as that happened, they released the code. I really, honestly, wasn't expecting it for probably about another 3 or 4 months, because I was led to believe that it was really going to happen after they really had completed the code on Pirates of the Caribbean.
So is it released, or is it just details at the moment?
I believe it's been released.
Okay.
Someone sent me a note yesterday. Actually, someone that was watching my stream said that, hi Peppers, said that they were actually playing it and they really like it. So So the main things, obviously, is, so there and back again, the wizard mode. Mm-hmm. The Beast Frenzy has been changed. One of the cool things he said was the ring button now changes colour depending on what you need to do, because there are, the 3 things are: 1, you can just collect coins or points, really. One of them is you can delay multi-ball, or you can change it to the mode, whatever it is, right? So, if a coloured button floats your boat, there it is.
Do you ever look down at the action button?
Well, I never really needed to, because it was always the same colour. But I can imagine why you would need to, because it was actually really interesting the way that the button was integrated. Because up until then, really, it was, for Star Trek, it was the photon torpedoes. Mm-hmm. For other things, it was almost like a mini smart missile, where it would activate a shot on the playfield, like AC/DC would. Yep. With the VIP pass or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So this was the first time really where it was strategic. So you could delay starting multi-ball, so you could then bring a mode in and then start multi-ball, because effectively it delays it by, I think, about 20 seconds.
Okay, that was a timer, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's timed.
Okay.
So yeah, you know what? I can understand that it would now be more useful to look at it knowing what colour it is.
Right.
What else?
And it's even more complex in the Pirates with that one coming out, isn't it? So,
that is correct as well. So
yeah, maybe they're getting that tech sort of sorted out.
yeah, maybe they wrote the code for that and gone, you know what? Copy and paste over into the Hobbit code. Right. There it is.
There are now 123 random awards to be given out in the Hobbit Mystery Awards.
I know. Oh God. I'm still looking forward to Pirates of the Caribbean and seeing how that works. Yeah. Anyway, so they've added more speech.
Okay.
This is for locking balls and jackpots. Updated and added sound effects. Changed the mode hex icon display. We love a good hexagon.
We do.
And this one's actually quite interesting. So it says to improve contrast between played and not played modes. That seems really not all that important. But when you've got that effectively, that honeycomb grid of all those modes, it was actually, at quick glance, it was really hard to determine which ones you'd actually started, which ones you had not started, and which ones you
shaded them out, didn't it? It was sort of a shadow effect.
Yeah. So now, obviously, that's more important to get to there and back again. So I'd say that's probably why they've done that.
Yeah.
One of the things, and Keith did sort of, this was when Keith made his big wah moment, was a lot of complaints that people were complaining about Beast Frenzy and Smaug Multi-Ball being stacked at the same time. Okay. And I didn't say anything at the time because, he was a guest on the show, But it didn't frustrate me too much. In fact, I didn't mind stacking those two together because it just made it more fun. Yeah. But when you've got that one shot to kill Smaug...
Right, and there's a beast popping up right in front of you.
Oh, my God. That's really frustrating when you've got the shot lined up, you've got it on the ramp, it's coming back to the flipper. All you've got to do is just flip, and as soon as it hits the flipper, the beast pop up, and then it hits the beast. Oh my God, that's so. You can turn it on or off. So you can leave it as was always there, but now
if you liked it that way.
Yeah. So if you liked it as is, or if it frustrates you, you've now got the option to turn that off.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, the more options, the better on these things, isn't it?
Yep. And one more thing, which I think is really quite funny, is they've changed the knocker low setting to be softer.
Ah, isn't that nice?
Have you ever heard the knocker on a Jersey Jack machine go off?
Everything on a Jersey Jack machine sounds like a knocker, though. Every rock target sounds like it's going to explode out of the machine. So I don't know if that's going to make a big effect. I don't know. You would know better than I.
I've got mine on low setting at the moment, and I still jump whenever it goes off. And people that have been, and you can see it on some streams. People actually jump when it actually happens. So it's one of those funny ones where they pointed it out in the release notes, and I sort of got a bit of a grin on my face, and I went, that is something that I would definitely do, is turn that down. I mean, I wouldn't turn it off. You've got the option to turn it off, but you want to know, you want some sort of sound when you achieve that, right?
Absolutely. But that's one of my favourite things about Jersey Jack machines. Just the sound of all the mechanisms just really shows you that there's some beef behind them. It's a great thing, I think.
Yeah, well, certainly with the Hobbit, it sounds very mechanical.
Yeah.
So even with the sound turned up quite loud, it is quite mechanical, and you do get used to that, and that becomes part of its charm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Pinburg's coming up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you know anyone that's going to Pinburg?
I may know a couple of people. Actually, I think there's about 5, maybe 6 people from Australia going to Pinburg this year. Yeah. So Jimmy, who we spoke to before, he's obviously going.
Absolutely.
So what do we know about Pinburg?
It's one of the premier tournaments that you'll have around the world. 800 players.
Yeah. Lots of machines.
And there was some news this week about it, was there?
There was indeed. So what's actually happening is that they are going to be revealing all the machines and the banks on Puppet TV Live's YouTube channel. This will be on July 14.
Oh, 5 or pretty coming up fast, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, I expect that the machines that are going to be there, the majority of the machines from last year will be there because they all come from the Papa facility, right? So I've played a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're actually going to reveal the banks because I don't know if you know, but I do need to read up on whether it's 3 or 4 machines. But let's just say it's 4 machines in each bank.
Yep.
There's an old, a mid, and a newer machine, and maybe there's another one in there for good measure. Yep. So how those banks are put together is really interesting because there could be, let's say 2 machines that you really like, and then there's an absolute clunker. and by clunker, I don't mean it's a bad machine. I mean
but it's just one of your
like an EM,
not as bad. Yeah, for sure.
Something that will really kick your butt, and it's designed to do that, right? It's designed that every group plays all eras of machines, and it tests all skills.
That's right. They also try to balance the sort of amount of time I guess it takes to play on average through a bank by having fast versus slow type games. But do we know how many games in total there normally are at Binberg? Like, what's the?
No, I think there's probably about 400. I'm just putting that number out there, but yeah.
And what's going to happen? Isn't there going to be something else happening? Like, we're going to see all the machines? Is that what's gonna happen?
So what's actually happening is that proudly presented by Deep Root Pinball, their new ambassador Steve Bowden, he is going to play every game.
Wow. That is amazing.
How long do you think it would take to play through 400 games?
5 days? 5 days of Deep Root?
That's what it is!
That's what it
is! Oh my God,
right.
guys, this is what it is. We're about to get the 5 days of Deep Root right now.
What a first assignment for Steve Bowden. Like, it's... Okay, Steve, we're just going to put you in this building, play every machine.
Yeah. I think to be able to get through them, he would probably have to plunge the ball, flip once, and then move to the next one.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. It should be interesting, though, to check it out.
It
might
should
get
be.
some good insights.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, Steve, if you're listening, and I know you listen, tell us how to play these machines. Because as you pointed out last week in our 50th, that I'm, not so great when it comes to rules.
Right.
So I usually know how to get multi-ball.
That's always useful.
That's kind of useful, but it's not really how you win tournaments.
Not the deepest of knowledges, no.
No, it's not. So I've already looked at the list of machines that were from last year, and already started to, I say brush up on my rules, but it's such a vast chasm. I really should have started months ago when I got my ticket.
Right. You'll be fine, Martin. I've seen you play. I've seen you play games that you're not confident in the rules on, and you do all right.
Well, if they are machines that it pretty much you follow the blinking light, and that will get you the scores. Yeah, usually I can do okay. But many times, and I know you've been there many times, I've come off a game and someone's gone, you had that lit. I'm like, oh shit, no, I didn't. Because I just didn't know to look there.
Yeah.
Really is what it is, right? Because it's clutch play most of the time.
Yeah.
And you've got the pressure of the tournament as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening. The sensors are going absolutely wild. I can't remember everything.
Yeah.
So, and I guess that probably comes from playing tournaments of this size often, I guess, is that the more you're exposed to it, the better that you get.
That's right. And I mean, obviously, the Americans have a good advantage there, having a lot of places with all these machines sort of ready to play.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we talk about the tournaments that we have here with 120 players. That's 30, 40 machines.
Yeah.
So it's not of this scale. And hats off to the team from Replay Foundation that are putting this on, because it's a serious undertaking, and I'm assuming that's why it's a full-time job for them.
That's right.
So, also just letting you know that Deep Root Pinball will also be a sponsor of Papa TV Live. So, putting their money where their mouth is. There it is.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we'll see some high-quality streaming coming out of that.
Yeah, well,
Not that we don't already get that from Papa TV does a great job.
they really do. And
But if they've got a bit of extra backing, they can get a few different things set up, I suppose. And
with a bit of extra lighting.
yeah,
Sorry, that's my Penn Stadium shill. Just there, just in case that wasn't subtle enough. There it is.
absolutely.
So, Stacey, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you ever been in on a Kickstarter?
I have been in on Kickstarters before. I don't recall too many that have gone awesomely.
Really?
Yeah, I have. I don't often get on them, but there's been a few, video game ones and physical like comic book type ones that have been on that haven't quite panned out the way you'd hope.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's a good idea, and there are a lot of good things, but you have to really understand the people that are behind it and their plan, and really work out for yourself whether you think that's a good thing to go for, and always consider that Kickstarters are not really a pre-purchase of something; they're really a backing the people behind it. And if you sort of think of it that way, then obviously, if you've got the money to put there, then do it. But grain of salt, always be wary.
So, have you ever been a backer of a Kickstarter that hasn't gone well?
Yeah, a couple of times. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on a campaign for a comic book that should have come through maybe about 2 or 3 years ago.
Really?
May or may not ever eventuate.
Okay. It's and you'll see where I'm going with this. It's just a book.
Yeah, right.
It's a comic book. What are you paying for?
I mean, you're paying for. I guess you're paying for the artist to do their job and for the printing process and the delivery. Really, I mean, it's not rocket science, is it?
No, but is this like a graphic novel type thing?
Yeah, graphic novel. So I mean, this one that I'm talking about had artist, writers, all that sort of stuff behind it. I think they had some issues keeping their team together, so that sort of didn't help them. And then I don't know what happened in the end. I know that they produced some actual physical books, but they got sort of released through comic shops and not given to backers. So
what?
Oh yeah. So I meant to put the Kickstarter was for effectively like a combined hardcover book of 3 volumes, let's say, of comics.
Right.
And they made the comics and they released them digitally. So I think they gave us to them digitally. And they released physical copies to stores, comic book stores, but we never got our physical hardbound release.
Okay.
Which is effectively the main thing I was paying for anyway. So
okay. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I got my Kickstarter update. I think it was number 30, my 30th update regarding the Stern book.
Right.
It says, "Hello, backers." That's nice.
It is always good to get a greeting in there.
Thank you. It says, "We are making great progress in design and have just had the opportunity to dive into Stern's highly guarded CD archive. This is a really big deal. They are making a huge gesture of trust and dedicating time from their staff to make sure this book looks amazing." And then they've shown some images of some sketches, I think maybe of Wonelli, maybe as well. So, and they look good. I'll give them that. It looks good. It doesn't kind of tell me when I'm getting my book.
Right. They don't like to give those details out.
No, that's right. So, anyway, they say thanks for your support and patience, the Paperflock team. So, I don't know. I've ordered and I have pinball books, and I might flick through them every once in a while, but I think they're just a good coffee table book. Yeah,
definitely. Something there when people come around and want to know a bit more about pinball or something to show them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully there's no issues in behind the scenes and you get your book at some stage.
Yeah, I hope so. So
still
guys,
confident?
Oh, after my headphone debacle, and my game band, which I doubt I will see as well, I'm now just I'm not bothered.
Yeah, fair enough.
If I get it, it'll be nice.
Yep.
But, you know, the whole Kickstarter model is just, it's dead to me. But I do occasionally... This is the problem. This is the problem not just with Kickstarter, but obviously with the pre-order model with pinball. And I'm obviously really guilty of it as well.
What, you?
I know.
Pre-ordered a pinball machine?
I know, right? But it's all about hope, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's all about coveting something that you want, that you desire, that you are emotionally connected to.
Yeah.
And when I go to Kickstarter and I just scroll through all the different things that are there on offer, there's so many of them that just leap out at me.
That's right. Well, that's the job of the Kickstarter campaign, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm sorry, Kickstarter is dead to me.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, but I'd be curious to know, and again, if people know, write in, just like, is Kickstarter, is it growing, is it declining, you know, what's happening with it? It seems to be thriving still, even though you just type failed Kickstarter into Google, and there is so many horror stories.
Yeah.
So when we think about, you know, some of the bad things that have happened in the pinball community, like, you know, Predator or, you know, Zedware and all that kind of stuff, where people haven't got their machines.
Yeah.
We've probably had, how many do you reckon? We've had 3 or 4 incidents like that?
Yeah, about that. Probably in the last
thousands of failed Kickstarters.
Yeah.
And I don't mean Kickstarters where they haven't reached their goal,
no,
and therefore it doesn't get funded and people get refunded. This is where they've actually been funded and people just never get their goods.
Yeah. Because, I think you've mentioned it before, that the business side of these things is super important, and you can love the product behind it as much as you want, but if you don't have that business knowledge and know-how, it's going to be very hard to pull through and actually provide something for your customers.
But that's exactly right. And I know that, you know, it's really easy for us to, you know, lay a little bit in on Stern over the years. You're welcome. But, you know, I was having a conversation recently, hi Richard, about, you know, the whole, you know, Stern being a manufacturer first and foremost.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's produced all these machines. The fact
exactly.
that they know how to build these machines in quantity, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And then you've got Magic. So you've got the Iron Maiden, which obviously we both played, and it's Magic, just everything aligned, and you get that one magical pinball. I'm now wondering what's going to happen next, whether anything now that gets released, whether people are going to say, well, it's not as good as Iron Maiden.
That's right. I mean, I think that's going to definitely happen. It always happens. You're always looking for something as good or better than what you can get prior, right? So
yeah.
But I mean, all the talk I've heard, about what's happening at Stern at the moment is that they've got a whole bunch of stuff that is really impressive. But obviously, the people who get to see those things are going to say that, you would think. So, but only time will tell. But fingers crossed. I've got a good feeling about it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with your positivity, because if you think about, and you know, we talked about, you know, with Joe Kamenkow last week, how he was talking about machines got made in 12 weeks because they had to.
Yeah.
Also back then, and we're talking about the heyday of pinball, I know that was probably its 3rd or 4th resurgence when they could just make a lot of machines. And let's even go back to the 80s, right, when most machines that came out were unlicensed. Time Fantasy, right? You know, with the acid snail, right? which we've talked about.
Yeah.
You could literally do any bloody license and it would do well. And you could do really crazy playfields and it would sell.
Yeah.
So we are kind of that environment, and it's not just the pinball industry. If you think about the music industry, it's the same. It's like, you know, record companies will only back a surefire hit these days. Everything else, they just drop them straight away. So everybody's only looking for something that will sell. I'd love to get back to that stage where they are producing so many machines
that just anything can happen.
They can fucking just fuck us up by releasing something like Orbital 1.
Rusak 2000.
Rusak 2000.
Bring it on.
Gary Stern, if you're listening, Rusak 2000. All we ask is a little bit of a head-to-head logo on the playfield there somewhere. Even under a ramp, I'd be happy with that.
You and Ryan will personally sign each playfield as it comes out of the factory.
That's exactly right. And so, if you think about what Jersey Jack's trying to do, and I would say Pirates of the Caribbean is that it's that answer, which is, sky's the limit. We're going to do whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why they've had to sort of just tone it back a bit, because it probably just got a bit too ambitious with everything that they're trying to do at once.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it's just not quite the right environment yet for doing that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you've got to turn a profit.
Yeah,
right?
And then that's not easy.
And as we know, guys, that is not easy. But I'd love that day. I welcome that day when we can just have crazy out there, as I said, like Orbital 1. Have you played Orbital 1?
I have not. No, I've heard you talk about it, and I know of it.
Yeah.
I have not had the chance, but yeah, that's like I
mean,
that's the edges of pinball that you were exploring there.
Yeah. Some would say it's not really even pinball, but Anyway, that's it. That's it. I've done talking about Stern. I'm moving on. So, we do love a good pinball event, don't we?
We do love them. We don't get them that often here, but we try our best.
We certainly don't. There's really sort of three probably major events in Melbourne that we get. One of them is the big tournament, probably is Melbourne Match Play.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a big tournament. PAX.
PAX is big.
PAX is huge. The pinball section of it is probably a smaller part of PAX, and I know that you're there. You're part of the retro gaming area there, as well as the pinball.
Classic gaming, yep.
Yep, classic gaming. And for the second year, I'd imagine, or is this maybe our third year?
Third, yeah. We're coming up on third, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So Flip Out is coming to Melbourne again. So this will be December 1 and December 2.
Excellent.
What do we know about this?
Well, Flip Out is held out in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. It's a massive event in terms of number of machines. We get 40 to 50 machines, I think we had there last year.
Yeah, that's right.
We often get pretty exclusive, cool stuff happening. So last year we had Pirates of the Caribbean to play.
Yes.
Which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Jack comes and visits us, which is really great. I mean, it's amazing to see head of one of the biggest pinball companies coming out to Australia. It's not an easy trip, but he does it. He's always welcoming and great with the crowd, so it's fantastic.
So he's coming out again this year?
Yeah, great.
And this is pretty much being held by Mr. Pinball Australia. So this is Wayne. And so really, you'll know the parallels in other markets and other countries, but effectively anything that's not Stern goes through Mr. Pinball.
Yeah, right.
So we've recently streamed Houdini from there, Total Nuclear Annihilation. So he's got all the Jersey Jack machines. So and he's got a Magic Girl.
He does.
That's the one that we streamed. That one that doesn't play. That where you had that great shot.
A world record, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. So, and we will also be having a big tournament there.
A tournament? We haven't had a tournament at Flip Out. Really? Well, we've had mini sort of tournaments. We haven't had a fully fledged.
That's right. We've not normally had 5 months to plan.
This is true.
So last time, unfortunately, we didn't get to the 30-day notification.
Right. Yep. IPA styles.
Yeah. So, but this time we do. And so we're going to try and do this. I'm going to be very ambitious with what I'm trying to set up. So I'm not going to go into too much details, because if I do, then I'm going to be held to it. But
that's right.
I'm going to try for the most professional streaming that certainly I've ever done, and hopefully that Australia has done.
Right.
Over as many machines as possible. So I'm currently doing a lot of research, and as a side note, thank you, Jack Danger. Jack Danger on the Dead Flip site put a how to stream guide. So I've always followed him and I've always spoken to him and got tips from him how to stream anyway. So I did learn a couple of extra things as well. So, but, you know, if we want to make this a big tournament, let's put the production quality into it. So we'll see what we can do.
Excellent. Sounds good.
So there'll be the main tournament, and there'll also be a Flip Frenzy, and we're hoping to have a special guest for that. So you will hear from that soon. We are going to have other international guests as well. So
all right, excellent.
That will all come in time.
You are giving the sizzle and the crackle, laying it down for everybody.
Is that what I'm doing?
When's it going to happen? Is it December, early December?
Yeah, December 1 and December 2, I believe, are the dates that have been booked in.
Yep, excellent.
So there will be a Facebook page created for it.
Fantastic.
But can I also just as another side note, if you don't mind,
of course.
Do you watch Twitch besides pinball?
I have watched a bit of Twitch besides pinball. Yeah, I'm obviously coming from the video gaming world. I've watched a few video gaming streams, particularly things like Evo, which is the big fighting game championship that happens. So you get sort of Street Fighter and Tekken and all that sort of stuff being played on the world stage. And they do some really good streams.
Yeah. Well, so I just logged into Twitch the other day as I was, going through my Jack Danger Dead Flip tutorial, and I was fixing some stuff. Yeah. And so I just happened to go on the front page of Twitch, and they were streaming. This was in Australia, and it was a Street Fighter V Arcade Edition tournament.
Yep.
Oh my God, Stacey! I've never seen anything like this. This was like if you were watching. I may be using a bit of hyperbole here, guys. So I am known to exaggerate somewhat. But this was like watching the Super Bowl if you're in America, or the AFL Grand Final.
Yeah,
they actually had a studio, like a studio set with two sets that they would go between, and with live cameras following the commentators and then the players themselves, and the players were had company sponsorship all over their. Like you're saying this like that's a normal thing.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Like there's some massive competitions in terms of the fighting game genre. They get good sponsorship from the big companies, like the companies that make the games, like Capcom and Namco Bandai. There's plenty of action, and those streams like for Evo can get up to 200,000 viewers, like massive numbers for an online thing. So I mean, obviously, video games are probably more popular than pinball, you would have to say, in terms of numbers. Not necessarily better, but just have that probably more accessible, obviously.
Yeah.
And obviously there's the competitive games, sort of, your MOBAs and your first person shooters that similarly get massive esports type production values applied to them. So
yeah. Well, yeah, it just literally opened my eyes because I really only watch pinball on Twitch. And to see something like this, which had, it was broadcast quality, like TV network type stuff. I just didn't realize that it was that professional and it was that much of a sport. Now, we talked about esports and pinball as a sport. That right there was presented as a sport, as a competitive sport. It'd be hard to get pinball to that level, but I'd love to see it one day.
It would be fantastic. I don't know how we do it. Obviously, the numbers in terms of the number of people that actually get those video games is always going to be exponentially higher than similar people have access to pinball. So it's a real tough game in terms of getting that comparison.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we do it, but all we can do is keep on improving the quality of what we're doing, really. I mean, that's all you can ask for. And
that's exactly right.
I'm happy to see any pinball stream, to be honest. I just love being able to catch the action. Like we don't get to go over to too many tournaments. Like obviously you're heading back again soon, which is great.
Yes.
But, for us stuck over here, we don't have many options other than to sort of catch what's being presented. And, with Jack Danger and Buffalo and those guys and Papa TV obviously providing us streams, it's great. Get to see all the best players play. I mean, there's been some awesome finals, like that New York City Championship. Those finals were just amazing. Seeing Bowen come back from the brink, plunging the right out lane on Iron Maiden and then coming back. Just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, and you're right. I think the advances that we've seen in recent times with streaming of these large tournaments has come in leaps and bounds and will only continue to do so. So, we look forward to seeing that.
And, I mean, the other advantage, just quickly, that these people have over us, their setup is sort of located in one place. It's, easy to get direct feeds.
Yeah, sure.
So we have pinballs. If you have 40 pinballs, that's going to be taking up a big area of real estate. So we've got to work out how to cover that in a better way. And the problem with that is that it's the only way to cover it a better way is with money. You need more setups, you need more cameras, you need more of everything. So it's not easy. And just we're improving, but hopefully we'll see some really awesome stuff coming out this year and see where we go. Take it from there.
Absolutely. All right, Stacey, do you want to play Slam the Top 100?
Do I ever?
Yeah, I think you do.
Absolutely.
It's only the most fun thing that we do. So, yeah, it's not really saying much. So let's recap on what happened last week, though.
Right.
Let me summarise. Ryan picked the better GIF for himself.
Well, it's always the telling factor, isn't it?
It really is. Though with mixed results this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the game that we were debating last week was Indiana Jones, the good one, versus Tron Legacy. And I won.
You won!
I did win, I know.
With a whopping 51% to 49%.
That's right. So I got 50 votes, Ryan got 48 votes, I win.
Excellent.
We also had a bonus slam.
It was a bonus, yeah.
It was a Slam the Top Podcaster. Yeah. I didn't do so well in that one.
Jeff tried. He tried to pump you up, but...
He did.
Steve Bowden is both an expert in knowledge, facts, and niceness, and that came through.
Yeah, it's like, you have to vote for the nice guy. Jeff Teolis is nice as well.
He's all right. He's flipping the bird in the picture that we use on the website.
Yeah, that's not really going to help. Anyway, so what we do for those people that are listening for the first time, Slam the Top 100, we pick a game from the Pinside Top 100. It is randomly chosen by Google Assistant, and then we vote. We then argue the merits of each machine. Then we have an opportunity to counter. We can either rebut the other person's machine, or we can talk further about how awesome our machine that we've got.
Right.
I don't know. How did I go explaining it? It's normally Ryan that explains those things.
I think that makes sense.
It does make sense? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So here we go. And Ryan normally does this, so let's see if I can do this just as well, i.e. whether I can cheat just as much. Okay, so I'm going to pick my number.
Okay.
Hey Google, pick a number between 0 and 100.
Okay. 4.
4. Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Have you done Twilight Zone before?
No, we haven't done Twilight Zone.
Excellent.
Okay.
Is that the best one you could have picked, given that you've probably done the other 3 above it?
Yeah, probably. The problem is, how much I hate Twilight Zone. Anyway.
Yeah, well.
Okay, here's another one. Hey Google, pick a number between 0 and 100.
Okay. 16.
Oh,
16.
Theatre of Magic.
Theatre of Magic. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Twilight Zone. Well, it's number 4 for a reason. It is a lot of people's favourite machine. Yes, I have been on record saying it's not one of my favourite machines. I think I may have even said it worse than that. But I do know that it is the better game. Because this is the game where they said, Pat Lawler, man, you can do what the fuck you like. And he did. It's obviously a wide body. It is absolutely packed with so many things, including obviously the gumball that has the power ball. You've got the power field up there with the flippers that are magnets. You've got great ramps up the center. You've got magnets. You've got a great rule set, a really deep rule set with obviously trying to get into the zone. It is beautiful art as well, great sound as well, really great call-outs, and incredibly good theme integration. I give you Twilight Zone.
All right. That's a reasonable sort of thing to say. We'll have to see what I say in response to that.
Okay.
I wonder. I'm glad that you owned up to not liking it.
Yeah, well, I just thought you were going to bring that up. So.
You're getting ahead of the game.
I knew that was coming. All right, you ready?
All right. Let's go. Theatre of Magic. It's got that magic touch. It's a game. It's a fun game. It's a magic theme, which is always welcome. There are plenty of shots to go for. Cool little trapdoor that opens up for a mystery. It's got one of the best video modes you could possibly imagine, where you're not only playing pinball, you're playing video pinball. The box toy is one of the best toys in pinball, I think. Bash it, it spins around, revealing a magnet on one side to start multi-ball, and then you've got the hole to shoot to start your modes and get your jackpots. And we've got the saw, we've got orbits into ramps, we've got everything you could possibly want in a pinball machine. Great modes to play for. I present you Theatre of Magic.
Well done. All right, well, let me start by saying some bad things about Theatre of Magic, if you don't mind. It's it has to be gimped for tournaments because everybody just goes for the theatre shot. Theatre shot, orbit, 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 boring. The bloody trapdoor doesn't work most of the time. And when it does, it just spits the ball out randomly, usually down the middle. Quite an unforgiving game. And let's not forget the box, right? That box, yes, it's a great toy. It never works. It really never works. It breaks down constantly. There you go. It's the truth. There you go.
Right, resorting to lies. Is that the only way to win this game, Martin? Really?
It's how Ryan wins.
Hat Stacey would not be proud of such things being said about Theatre of Magic. I'm sure you can see some action on the Melbourne Silver Ball stream.
Sure.
Archived somewhere. I'm going to say one more good thing about Theatre of Magic. The Great Wankerini. There. That should be enough to win. Right, Twilight Zone. Problems with it. Let's start with plunging the ball. You've got a skill shot you can go for. Great. You can get up to 10 million points. Fantastic. What happens after you get that skill shot? Shoots the ball up into the pops, and it drains out the left out lane most of the time. What sort of a silly design is that? Okay, sure, you can put it into the scoop, but even then you're often in trouble. It's so black and white. I mean, come on, people. Have you heard of colours? I'm sure there are plenty of other bad things about it too. I can't quite think of them. I should have brought up its flyer. I'm sure I could have got some information from that. Look, the magnets on the side, it's basically another random game as to whether you're going to get that ball to go up through the power. The diverter often breaks down. That's actually true. The number of times you can't shoot the ball into that power field is pretty high. It's an okay game, but it's no Theatre of Magic.
There you go. I think you did well for your first time in the top 100.
Just give me the better GIF and we're all good.
Well, I'm going to be in control of the GIFs, so
all right.
We'll see how we go. So that was Twilight Zone versus Theatre of Magic. very popular games, both of them.
They are. They're both very popular.
It'll be really interesting.
Excellent.
So, and it's a bit of a segue into our week in pinball. One of the first things, and I know that some people that follow the podcast know this as well, but there's actually a Facebook group called Pinball Wars. And they do effectively do what we just did, where they just put one machine against another, and then they ask people to say which one they like.
And similar to what happens on Head2Head, it's the graphics that are really important, aren't they?
Yes. So Riff Bear is the person that curates this particular group, and he often does animations highlighting the different machines. And, people that we know are in those videos as well. And I know. And look out for a future competition on Head2Head, as one of our friendly listeners may just get themselves in one of those videos.
My name's Jeff.
You'll know exactly what that is when you go Pinball Wars. Look it up on Facebook. It's a lot of fun.
It is. And what did you get up to in pinball this week, Martin?
Well, I did, as I said, we streamed TNA, and I haven't played TNA for a few months.
Right.
I'm tempted to get one. And I'll tell you why I'm tempted to get one, because it makes you play this game differently to any other game you play.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not only, obviously, it's fast, but the flippers in particular, you never feel safe. You've got to absolutely nail your live catches and your drop catches to really be able to have control, because, going down the in lanes, it doesn't stop. It bounces over.
Yeah.
It's really hard to trap up. It is fast as all hell. And you just, oh my God, you can't get sick of that music. It is so good. And
good.
And when we were streaming with Lucas, friend of the show, Lucas. Hi, Lucas. Who, let's face it, is a massive metalhead. And really, really doesn't like electronic music at all. In fact, has on record saying he doesn't like electronic music at all. He could not stop tapping his feet to the beat and nodding his head in time.
Nice.
And he just got it, we talked, previously about, Ed Robertson saying from the band Naked Ladies saying how much he loves the music as well. You just can't help love the music because it is, let's call it's machine appropriate.
It is. Scott Denisi is a wizard, effectively.
He really is.
A wizard of every possible aspect.
He really is. Also went to the Argonauts this week. You were away for the Argonauts.
I missed the Argonauts. I was gallivanting off in near the snow, so could not make it, unfortunately. I think it's the second one I missed, maybe third.
Yeah. So
how did it go?
It went well to a degree. It's qualifying, so there's 7 machines there, and you'll play 8 games. So effectively, you've got to play all 7 machines. It's best game format, so top score gets 100 points, and then 97, and then down it goes. And then you get to play one other machine as your bonus machine, so it counts, so you have 8 scores. Yep. And I managed to qualify first.
First, excellent, good work.
I did. I got a monster game, a monster game on Dialed In, managed to get 3.3 million.
Nice.
It was really good. I also had a massive score on Playboy.
All right.
The old Bally Playboy, which is great. And a third machine. I can't remember. I think I also got the top score on as well. So I did well, and I managed to qualify first.
Excellent.
I then got into the semi-finals, and it was head-to-head, and I beat my opponent in straight sets, which was good.
Excellent.
And then into the finals. And that's kind of where my luck kind of ran out.
Yeah.
Bad.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, it was. And so I actually got to pick the machines.
Right.
And I didn't really pick all that well. I was trying to, because I was up against some big players. So, Richard Rhodes was there,
right.
Daniel Luth was there, Jordan was there, right? They're the 3 people I'm up against, right?
That is a quality top 4. It doesn't get much better in Melbourne.
Right. Heavy hitters, right? So I kind of tried to do a bit of an unusual pick just to throw the group.
Yep.
So
What did you go for?
Oh, man. What I went for, I probably shouldn't have. First game was Indy 500.
Yep.
Now, this game, hi, Min, this has got brand new rubbers on it, and it is bouncy as all fuck. So, you've played it as well.
I have.
That lock shot.
Still very tricky.
Yeah. Rejected too
Just
many
does
times.
not like sticking. Yeah.
Nope. So, I pretty much came last on that game.
Ouch.
Richard came first.
And, I mean, Richard and Jordan are very good at that game, too.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what he said.
But, the other choices were Dialed In. Well, they would have killed me on Dialed In. Shadow. They would have killed me on Shadow. Star Trek Next Generation. Oh, just cannot play that game. So I sort of picked ones that I knew I had some sort of advantage if luck went my way.
Yep.
The second game we played was then Medieval Madness.
Okay.
And, I was chasing down Richard, who got a respectable score. I think it was like 58, 59 million.
Yeah. Good.
So on my last ball, I hadn't really done much except that I had... Well, when I say I hadn't done much, I'd lit 4 of the...
Madness
modes, and I had Trolls lit.
Yeah, right.
So all I had to do...
Pop it in that
scoop, and I fumbled, but managed to get it in there.
Yep, nice.
Started it, then got the Trolls down, so I got extra ball time. Got that all done, and then Royal Madness was lit.
Yeah, nice.
Got Royal Madness started, managed to get a number of the shots. I had 2 shots to go, and then the ball drained, and I ended up on about 51 million, so I didn't catch him. So what it meant in the last game, which was on Playboy, Richard had already won. He was on 8 points, and the 3 remaining people, myself, Daniel, and Jordan, we were all on 2 points each.
Right.
So really it was... Yep. It was a battle.
Head-to-head.
Yep. It was a battle to see who would come second, and I came last.
Ouch.
And then Daniel came second last, and Jordan came second. And Richard won. So
there you go.
It's still
Good
a
night.
good tournament, and great games to play in really good condition. And that's, it's a private collection. So they are people that we know as part of the Melbourne pinball scene that have got their machines in there. So they are very well maintained. So
It's
well
true.
done, guys, everybody, for putting that on. And look, the only other thing I've been doing pretty much for this last week is been researching streaming setups, and I've got a lot of equipment to buy. So that's what I've been looking at is how I'm going to stream. I'm hoping probably 8 to 10 machines at once. So we'll see how we go.
That'll be a good effort if you can get that sorted.
It will be. How was your week?
My week was not highly pinball related. I had a bit of a tricky school holiday, so went on a bit of a snow holiday with the kids, so didn't get too much time to do too much pinball related action. Bit of work on my pinball machine. I've got a Last Action Hero. It's been sitting here with a couple of switch problems. It's been trying to deal with that. I've got to work out how to either solder or glue a bit of metal back onto one of the switches. It's been eluding me so far. I've also got to try to deal with the magnets and the Ripper kick device, which is sort of a known issue. It's got a few fuses that tend to blow, but I think it might be one of the transistors on the controller board, so I'll have to do a bit of testing there, see if I can get it going. That's not as critical as the switch. The switch is on the crane shot, so kind of one of the main shots in the game, and if it doesn't work, then you basically have to sit there waiting for a ball search every time you hit that shot, so that's not going to fly. It should be fixable. I've got it all sort of out and ready to go, so hopefully getting that sorted, and maybe sending that machine to the Argonauts arcade as well. So
okay, there you go. I don't mind that game. I actually quite like it. It's
a good fun game. It's a data
race of its time. Yeah,
but it's not too bad. It's got a whole bunch of fun modes to play, and what can you say? It's a data race.
Pretty much.
I don't mind data race as much as someone like Ryan. So that's fine. And of course, we streamed Star Trek on Sunday, so that was good fun.
Well, because you mentioned in the interview that you're not necessarily aware too much of Star Trek, so I thought, why did you come over?
Yeah, I'm sort of, not that I don't understand the game greatly, but it just always seems to get me a bit rattled. So
yeah,
just was great to come around and to teach me a few things and just get settled. Like, I mean, I've got to really nut out what all those away team missions do. I learnt a few things on Sunday, so it was handy. But yeah, getting control of that mission, and when it's set up super hard, it just gets another level of difficulty. So it's a lot about control, and so I feel much better after Sunday. So thanks for that.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing about Star Trek is that it is quite a situational game. There are many things that you can be doing at once that you need to be aware of. And what I was sort of saying to you is, when you're in these big tournaments and you get your 30-second warm-up time, there's particularly on that machine, there's just some things you should really be trying to see how they work. Kick-outs and all that kind of stuff, because that will be really important when you actually get in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
So warm-up is really important, people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. That was our week. So the last thing to talk about, everybody, is we mentioned it last week, and this is the competition that we're putting on to win a very super limited edition Head2Head Pinball t-shirt. There's 3 of them that we're going to be giving away.
Awesome.
Stacey, do you know the details of this competition?
Do I might know the details of the competition. I believe it's a video to be sent to Facebook. Isn't that right? It's a 4 or 5 minute video just of your face telling us exactly why you deserve to win this t-shirt. That's correct, isn't it?
No, because Brian didn't want to do that.
He didn't want to do that. So what you've done instead is spot the difference. Is that correct?
That is correct. So you will see on our Facebook page in the next 24 hours a spot the difference picture. And it is a picture of Ryan and myself. And what you have to do is you have to write in to head2headpinball@gmail.com. That's head, the number 2, head, pinball@gmail.com. And you need to tell us as many differences that you've noticed in the pictures side by side.
What happens if they find a difference that isn't actually there?
Well,
is that automatic disqualification?
No, I think the way we can do it is whoever's found the most correct.
Yeah.
And if you get all of them, I'm not going to say how many changes there are. If you get them all, then we'll go into a random draw for everybody that's got it right. But it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of shits and giggles, right?
It is. So it's a great set of photos too.
Yes. So you'll all be very familiar with this photo if you've been to our Facebook page before. So those details will be on Facebook in the next 24 hours.
Awesome.
So I think we're at the end of this podcast. Stacey,
the podcast already.
We're like, that has gone very quickly, hasn't it?
Has, absolutely.
That's what happens. Every week, we just keep talking, and then we get to the end.
Fantastic.
Have you had a good time?
I've had an awesome time. Thank you so much for letting me come on. Hopefully my verbal diarrhea has filled the time nicely for your podcast.
It has. It's done very well.
I'm no Ryan C, but goddamn, I sing better than him, that's for sure.
Are you going to sing me out?
If you want me to.
Well, what are you going to sing?
I don't know. What was that song you mentioned earlier? No, I'm not. I'll sing you out if you like, but you have to tell me what song.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Next time.
Next time when you're on As I Reserve again, you've got that amount of time to think of a new song. But really do appreciate you coming on. Ryan will be back next week, as will I. This has been the Head2Head Pinball Podcast, episode 51. Thanks everybody for listening.
Bye.
See you later.